Premier League goal scorers, top goal scorers, in fact, the most match winners in Premier League history. Today, Ben, you've got to name the top 10. Ben 10, as I like to call you. You've got to name the top 10. How are you feeling about doing that?
Oh, that's definitely going to become a thing now you've said it. Ben 10, Tenable, it's got a certain ring to it. But
Yeah.
with this particular quiz, I feel fairly confident for getting like the main ones. But yeah, we'll see how we get along. I feel like I'll feel my way into this quiz.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I say, there are 10. It might, some, as you say, might catch you a little bit by surprise, but I think you'll get on quite well. So you've got three guesses. You've got three opportunities to get one wrong, and obviously there's 10 to get. So, where are you going first, and who are you picking first?
Yeah, I feel like the three lives I get or whatever does give me a little bit of breathing space here to get like
Mm-hmm.
creative once I've knocked off like the main ones. But the first one that comes to my head immediately that I think's got to be there is Thierry Henry. I feel like for the length of time he was in the Premier League, amount of goals he scored, that's going to be my first answer, Thierry Henry.
Yeah, I think that's probably the correct way to go about it in terms of that longevity. Um, he is on the list. He's on the list in fifth,
Oh
though,
wow.
with 59 match winners. So in fifth. Has that made it any easier or any harder for you, with Thierry Henry being one of the greats?
Yeah, I'm not. Instinctively off my head, I thought Henry will be top three of this list easily. But now that he's down in fifth, that has got me thinking a little bit more about some of the other names that could potentially pop up. I'll still stick to my thought process of the next name I was going to go for anyway.
Yep.
And that'll be Wayne Rooney. Just once again, longevity in the Premier League, amount of goals he scored. I'd imagine he'd have to be. I'd probably say above Henry, actually, if I had to guess.
Yeah, absolutely bang on there. I don't know how you nailed that one. Rooney is second with 68 goals, Wayne Rooney is. So there is, what, 9 goals between the pair of them. So, I mean, considering the number of goals that they scored throughout their careers, I mean, it's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, we'll take that. So, still looking for that top spot. I feel like might not be top, but I feel like looking at the Premier League now, I feel like Salah has to be in there. I feel like I saw a stat about him on Twitter not too long ago about the amount of match winners he had in the Premier League, and it was absolutely loads. So Salah, I feel like has to be in there. I'll go for him next.
Yeah, so you're maintaining your 100% record here. Salah slides in just beneath Thierry Henry with 55 goals in sixth place. So only 4 behind Henry, which to me seems bonkers because it doesn't feel like he's been in the Premier League, like scoring goals for that long. But of course, it's been much longer now, hasn't it?
Yeah, that is interesting. It makes me think how many like recent like players that are still active in the Premier League would be up on here because Salah's the obvious name, but I feel like the best bet would be to go back to like all-time top scorers and things like that, nail through the club. So, um, thinking who've we not said so far? Like, well, would a Harry Kane be up there? Has he scored enough match winners in the Premier League? I'm going to hazard a guess at Harry Kane just because he's up there in terms of the all-time scoring list. Surely he's got a lot of match winners in that time.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't have too many against Chelsea though. That's the important thing. Remember that one. But he is on the list. He is at the minute in at fourth place. I say at the minute he could come back and he could, find his way to the top of this because he is on 61 and Rooney's on 68 in second. So he could climb his way up if he came back to the Premier League. But yes, Kane in at 4.
So it's still catching me out a little bit that I've not got the top spot yet, have I?
No, you haven't. You haven't.
And that's making me think. The way I'm sort of processing all this is going through like all the big six first of all, thinking of like the big strikers, main goal scorers, and things like that. I feel like the names I've got in my head at the moment, Aguero is in there, Lampard is in there, Drogba, Torres, would he have got enough match winners? I feel like he might be on the periphery or something like that. The only thing that's putting me off Aguero is I feel like during City's time that Aguero would have been banging them in. They'd have just been steamrolling teams like 4-5-0. So that all the goals that Aguero's scoring aren't necessarily match winners. But once again, volume of goals, I feel like he's got to be in there. So I'm going to say Aguero.
Yeah, well, there was some good logic in there, and Sergio Aguero is on the list. He is in seventh. So bearing in mind that Salah is in sixth on 55, Sergio Aguero down in seventh is on 48. So there's quite a big gap there,
Okay.
which you can use that knowledge as you like. But yes, Sergio Aguero is in at number 7.
Okay, that's not too shabby then. A bit of a light bulb did go off in my head as I was talking through some of those names as well, thinking about the top scorers charts. I feel like because I've not said the all-time top scorer, surely he'll be in this list here. So I'm going to go Alan Shearer. Obviously, bit too young. I was a bit too young to sort of see the prime of Shearer in the Premier League or whatever like that. But one bulk of goals, he's surely got to be in there. And I'm assuming he's going to be the one at number 1 since I've not got him. And if it's not Shearer, I'm really scrambling my brain for who that number 1 spot could be.
Well, it seems like sound logic, doesn't it, to go with Alan Shearer? Well, that's because it is. Alan Shearer
Okay.
is number 1 with 68. I tried to add a little bit of suspense there, but I don't think it quite worked. Yes, Shearer is actually tied at the top with Wayne Rooney. But first for Shearer, he's at 68 as well. So yeah, what you've got left, the positions that you are looking for right now is that third place spot. So you've got first, second, you're
Okay.
missing third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh you've got, and then it's eighth, ninth, and 10th, where I assume will be a little bit harder. But you're missing third, which is the big one, and then eighth, ninth, and 10th. But you've still got all 3 lives left. So
Yeah, we can start to take a few more gambles here. Then I feel I think I said his name before, and I'm gonna throw him out there again because he's the first one coming to my head right now, and I feel like that is Didier Drogba. I feel like Chelsea Mourinho era, a lot of tight wins that Drogba was probably making the difference for. So yeah, I'm gonna go Drogba as my next guess.
okay, so that 100% record, Ben, has gone.
No,
Drogba
no.
doesn't make the top 25 of this list.
Wow.
So he's nowhere in the top 25. And I can tell you from the 25, the lowest scorer is 36 goals. So he doesn't make the top 25, Didier Drogba, for this. A great goal scorer, but clearly not as great as some of these for getting match winners.
Wow, yeah, that has thrown me a little bit there because I thought he'd be on the periphery of the top 10, but the fact he's not even in the top 25 has blown my mind a little bit there. Um,
I did think that when I like got the answers for the quiz. I did
yeah.
think that myself.
Thinking of, I feel like the safe way to do this still to go around big 6 clubs. I feel like it's not worth delving into the other sort of people that might be in and around the 100 club but didn't play for a big club just because I feel like they might not have as many match winners. So on that logic, I've got a few names in my head. I think that Robin Van Persie, Raheem Sterling, I'm between those 2 names at the moment. I'm going to go RVP next up, I think, but yeah, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot if he's not there and Sterling is, but I'll go Robin Van Persie.
So you're going with Van Persie.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that Robin Van Persie is on the list, technically, because he got the same amount of goals as another player, which is another United legend in Ryan Giggs. So I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
They're both on the same amount of goals for this. As they were all teetering on 10, I thought it'd be harsh not to include one and to include the other. So yes, Robin Van Persie and or Ryan Giggs. So if you're at home and you guess Ryan Giggs is also on the list for you.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad I've got that answer then, because Ryan Giggs just wasn't gonna pop up in my mind whatsoever. I think obviously he's got that longevity in the Premier League, but you don't necessarily think of him as that main goal scorer. So I'm still missing three. What else am I still to get here?
So you're missing 3, 8, and 9 because Van Persie and Giggs were both in that 10 slot.
3, 8, and 9. I mean, he was the player in my head before, but Sterling, he scored so many goals during those years under Pep Guardiola, didn't he? But would he have enough match winners in this sense? I mean, he'd definitely be below Aguero, wouldn't he? But he could be in that pocket. I'm going to go Raheem Sterling because he's someone that did come to my head, and I'd be annoyed if I said him as sort of a guess and didn't properly throw him out there. So I'll go Raheem Sterling.
So you go in with Raheem the Dream.
Yeah.
Very close, but unfortunately, Raheem Sterling is not on this list. Raheem
Oh,
Sterling, it belongs to a pocket of 5 players who, obviously, I'm not going to name the rest of them, but he belongs to a pocket of 5 players with 39 goals. And for reference,
okay.
Van Persie and Giggs are on 42 match winners. So
Okay.
it's 3 goals off. So that kind of gives you an idea of where you need to be going. So Aguero's in at 7 with 48, and Van Persie, Giggs are in there at 42.
Okay, yeah. So not a million miles away with that one then. I feel
Yeah,
like
it was a good way to work it out.
yeah, yeah. I've got a couple of names that are coming to me now, and I feel like the fact that Drogba wasn't an answer for Chelsea, I feel like there's got to be either an Eden Hazard, Diego Costa, or the one that I am leaning towards is Frank Lampard. Once again, bulk of goals he scored in the Premier League and things like that. So I'm going to go Frank Lampard as my next answer.
Excellent answer. Really good answer. I'm glad you got there. I think you'd have kicked yourself if you hadn't got
Is he
that one.
third?
He is in 3rd place, yes.
Wow.
Same amount of goals as Harry Kane on 61. But yes, 3rd position with Frank Lampard. So that does leave you now with just 8 and 9. But yeah, I thought that would have kicked you like in the teeth. That would have, if you'd have not said Frank Lampard.
Yeah, that is unbelievable in terms of that goal record for match winners and things like that. So
Yeah, great player.
the names that I was thinking about in my head before when I was debating Lampard, the one that did come up that I sort of imagined, I didn't think he'd be in the top 5 or anything like that, but I thought he would be on the periphery of the top 10, was Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think because he came back to the Premier League as well, got to add a little bit more to his tally. So he's one that I'm sort of umming and ahhing between, because I feel like if he's not there, he may be around it, maybe in and around sort of the Raheem Sterling number or something. But just for the fact that I've not got that many more names going around my head right now, I'm going to go Cristiano Ronaldo and hope that he just about got over the line and in there.
So, Cristiano Ronaldo, it's very, very sound working out, this one. I'd like to point that out. It is incredible working out, but it's not quite right.
Oh,
And that's your 3rd life gone. That is Cristiano Ronaldo. And you said it yourself, is about that Raheem Sterling mark. They're
is
on
it? Yeah.
exactly the same amount as each other. So belongs in that little pocket of 5 that I spoke about earlier, all on the same goals. But no, Cristiano Ronaldo did not make the list.
Oh, damn. I feel like I've
Yes.
given that a decent. Was it just 2 that I didn't get in the end?
Yeah, you were missing 8 and 9. So
Okay.
admirable.
Yeah, that's not too bad. 80. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, do you have any ideas just off the top of your head? Is there any others that you maybe would have gone towards just to see if even if they're in the top 25, see if there was any that you might get to?
A couple that I did have in my head were a few of the English strikers. So Jermaine Defoe, Michael Owen, Peter Crouch were the ones that were sort of going around my head. Were any of them in the mix?
So, of the 100 clubbers that you're thinking of, Defoe was actually 11th with
Oh,
41
damn.
goals. Michael Owen is on 37 goals, but like I say, a little bit further down because of that pocket of 5 that's with Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
And Peter Crouch isn't on this. So I will run you through the top 10. But before I do that, I will give you one last clue to see if you can get this. They are typically 90s strikers, and they both played, I'm pretty certain, at the same time. Might not be in at the same time, but they both played for Manchester United. Does that give you a clue as to where to go?
Yeah, it does. It does. See, I wasn't even, other than Shearer, the 90s weren't even in my brain. I was just sort of thinking like 2000, 2005 onwards. This one won't be an answer, but another one that has come to my mind that I probably would have said if I had thought of him was going to be Ruud van Nistelrooy. But if we're talking 90s, then I'm assuming it'll be one of or two of York, Cole, Sheringham, Solskjaer, maybe two of them.
Yeah, so absolutely, you're on the right lines. And Ruud van Nistelrooy, for reference, is the 25th player with
Oh wow, okay.
36 match winners. But you're absolutely right. It is one of those four, or two of those four, in Andy Cole with 46 goals in 8th, and Dwight York in 9th with 45. So just to run that
Yeah,
through, you've got Shearer and Rooney with 68 goals in 1 and 2. You've got Lampard and Kane in 3 and 4. You've got Henry in 5 with 59 goals. Salah has 55 goals in 6th. Aguero has 48 goals in 7th. Andy Cole in 8th with 46 goals. Dwight York with 45 goals. And Robin van Persie and Ryan Giggs in at number 10 with 42 goals. So I think that Andy Cole, Dwight York thing, you were either going to get them, your brain was either gone to the 90s and
yeah,
that United squad, or it wasn't. And it wasn't for you today, and I think as a result of that, you got all of the ones that you could.
yeah. I'll take that. I'll take that. I think my mind wasn't going towards the 90s, but like you say, if it had, those sort of names probably would have been bubbling around there. But for the first Ben 10 Tenable, whatever we're going to name this, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's not bad whatsoever. Well, let us know in the comments section down below how you got on with this. Did you beat Ben? Did you manage to get the full 10 out of 10? And if you want to play the full game, want to look at the full 25, we've not revealed all of the top 25, so make sure to head over to planetfootball.com and play the quiz for yourselves.